am 6 months sober today! I never thought I'd make it this far, but the last time that I checked in with you guys was at the 3-month mark, and at that point, not much in my life had changed. I wasn't seeing all the benefits yet. People are always talking about how much sobriety has changed their life for the better and how they would never go back, how they have more motivation, how they have more energy, but I hadn't gotten there. I didn't feel like I was gaining all the benefits yet of quitting. I was still having a lot of cravings, and up until around January at the 5th month mark, I was still having cravings. At night, I would be laying in bed, wondering if I should go to the dispensary. I wasn't even sure if it was worth me quitting at that point. But there was this book that I read called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, I believe. In that book, it said that addictions are really hard to quit if you don't replace it with another habit or addiction. Which made a lot of sense to me because when I quit smoking nicotine, it was really easy for me to do because I increased how much weed I was smoking. I replaced it with more weed. And this time when I was quitting weed, I didn't have anything to replace it with. I tried replacing it with teas. Oops, sorry. But that's not realistic. It wasn't doing anything for me.
It wasn't addicting, plus it was just making me pee a lot.
I did start going down this weird path where I was having like an alcoholic beverage at night to help me sleep, but I didn't like that path that I was going down. I knew in my head, because of the power of habit, that my brain was looking for a habit to replace the weed, and I was not going to make that alcohol. I was not. What changed for me in January was, in December I had gotten chased by that man and I decided to join a martial arts gym, and I started taking Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and Muay Thai classes. It started with just twice a week, but then that spiraled into this whole different addiction where now I'm going 5 days a week and taking 7 classes a week, which is crazy. So although it wasn't intentional for me to replace the weed with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, that's kind of naturally what happened. And this has kicked off this avalanche effect of me doing a bunch of other things to better my health. Like, because I had struggled with an eating disorder before, I had this really strict belief about not tracking my calories or paying attention to the food I was eating. I had this philosophy that I should eat whatever I want, whenever I wanted, and to never keep track of it. But after I started working out as much as I have, I started wondering, okay, am I getting enough protein? Because if I'm not getting enough protein, then all the hard work that I'm doing is going to waste. So I started tracking my calories again, very carefully, because I don't want to slip back into the eating disorder. I realized that not just protein, but I wasn't getting enough fiber. I wasn't getting enough potassium. I wasn't getting enough vitamin C, iron. I wasn't getting enough of anything. So now I'm also obsessed with eating a bunch of fruits and veggies and getting a well-balanced diet. And people online and in my real life are telling me, wow, like you look so much better. Like I don't know what you're doing, but you look so much healthier. I swear to you, I think it's all the exercise and the food I'm eating. It really makes a difference, and I feel so much better. And not only that, on top of the food and the exercise, now because of the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I'm also going to the gym 3 times a week because I want to get stronger. I want to get better at Jiu Jitsu at any cost. And because I'm smaller and wrestling a lot of bigger men, I want to become stronger so I can kick some ass. And then I'm also getting winded rolling for 5 minutes. Rolling is when you just go at it with the jiu-jitsu for 5 minutes straight to try to get your submissions and whatnot. But I'm getting winded doing that, so I was like, oh, maybe I should start running to increase my stamina. So now I'm looking into like marathon training, and this just whole different world opened up to me. I fell right down the stoner to gym bro pipeline. And I can't even imagine myself going back to smoking because I've seen firsthand how it affects my workout. Like when I was smoking all the time, I was still pretty active. I ran a lot, I rollerbladed, I weightlifted, but something that I was able to visibly see was that when I was smoking all the time, I could only run up to a mile. And right after I quit, I was able to immediately start running 2 miles with no extra training. That's crazy. I can feel that my heart rate is more stable. Everything became a lot easier. I don't even casually drink anymore because it's bad for my gains, which sounds crazy. Mari last year would have made fun of me now for saying that. I also wanted to address all the people who have left comments about how much weed has benefited their life. or have complained that I'm spreading anti-weed propaganda. I've never been anti-weed. I'm still not anti-weed. If you struggle with chronic pain and weed is the only thing that helps you, please continue smoking. If you have struggled with other addictions and weed is what's keeping everything at bay for you, you should never feel bad about that. You should never feel bad about that. I'm not comparing weed to hard drugs. That was one of the reasons I continued for a long time too. I kept telling myself, well, I could be doing crack. Yeah, I could be. But I'm not. I'm addicted to weed. I don't think I'm better than anyone else for stopping. I'm not pushing anyone to quit. I don't bother the people in my life that do smoke a lot about it. I leave them be. If they want to quit, they'll quit at their own pace. And if they want to ask me for advice, I'll give it to them. But that's not my place. And I'm not going to put myself in a moral high ground for quitting or being sober. I've never hated weed, and I'm not here to villainize weed. In fact, I loved weed and I still feel fondly for it, which is why quitting was so confusing for me. I loved doing it. I loved how it made me feel. I loved the people who do it. It made it exponentially harder, but I just had to come to terms with myself and for myself, for me, that the cons were far outweighing the good. And I think weed should be available and legal. I think it should be decriminalized. And I think it's great to talk about the positives, but I also think that we need to be realistic and I should be allowed to talk about the negative effects that it had on me. And talking about the negatives should not take away from the positives. Does that make sense? Nothing else I've ever been addicted to in my life has affected me the way weed has. Nothing has given me explosive diarrhea, taken away my appetite for weeks, given me horrible night sweats, made me terribly irritable, made me nauseous and sick. There's so many other things that happened with me quitting weed. It wasn't just psychological, it was full body withdrawals. That was real. And part of why I was so deep into it was because I kept telling myself that it was impossible to get addicted to it. I always thought that I would be able to quit with ease. I thought I would be able to stop without having any repercussions, but that wasn't true. And I honestly felt betrayed by all the people before me that had told me over and over again that you couldn't become addicted to weed. And had I known better, I might have approached my use differently. People should know what they could be setting themselves up for, even if it's not the universal experience for everyone. Even knowing that it could be a possibility for it to be that hard to quit and to go through such horrible physical withdrawals, that's the reality that I went through. That's not a lie. And people should know that. I had a friend in college that became severely addicted to weed. And when my friend told me about that, I laughed. I was like, that's a skill issue. There's no way, because weed isn't addictive. It must be genetics or something. It must be an addictive personality. I said all the same bullshit that people are telling me in my comment section at one point in my life. Until it was me in his shoes going through the exact same thing. Nothing about my use was casual. It might have started that way, but that's not how it ended. It was out of control and it was an addiction. And no matter what, smoking is bad for your lungs and it's not good for your health. Period. We can acknowledge the positives while acknowledging the negatives too. And I also know how many excuses I made for myself to continue using. How it was helping my insomnia, helping my social anxiety, self-medicating for my mental health issues, because it's cheaper than therapy, or cheaper and less scary than getting medicated. So I wasn't being honest with myself. So all that I ask of you is for everyone to take a second and see if you are being honest with yourself. If any part of you feels like it's out of control or affecting your life negatively, please just take 1 second to sit down with yourself and think about whether the negatives are outweighing the positives. And do that over and over again until you find it within yourself to say, enough is enough. Thank you guys so much for watching my video and keeping up with my 6-month update. Maybe I'll do another update in 6 months for a whole year of being sober. We'll see. That'll be exciting. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you guys want another way to support me, you guys can always check out my Patreon. And check out my sticker club where I ship out an original sticker to you guys every month. I try to make the packages nice and special for you guys, so I would really appreciate it if you guys checked it out. I hope you guys have a super sparkly Wednesday. Bye! Oh no! I'm sorry I stole your seat. Will you forgive me? Oh, doesn't that hurt your tail?
Yeah. I love you, honey bunny. Here.